whatever reason the DSS are still holding Igboho's aid, I really don't know, even after the court has granted bail to them and even called again that they be released. But, this time around, most sons have come together to ensure that these guys get their release, and Abubakar Malami has been called out on why he has not given directive for these guys to be released totally and allowed to go back to their families. Well, there's more to this, but I'll bring you the details. But please stay tuned and share you like this video. If you're here for the first time, turn on the notification bell, like, and also share this video. All right, guys, without further ado, let us dive right into the details of this report. Yes, 3 senior advocates of Nigeria have tackled the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami San and the Director General of the Department of State Services Yusuf Bichi over the continued detention of 12 aides of Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, despite meeting all bail conditions. The senior advocates Femi Falana, Ebun Olu Adegboruwa, and Ifedayo Adedipe said the DSS is inviting anarchy and lawlessness into the country by not obeying the order of a federal high court sitting in Abuja, which granted bail to the 12 detained aides of the separatist leader, also known as Sunday Igboho. The spokesperson in separate interview over the weekend, according to the detainee's lawyer Pelumi Olajengbesi, the presiding judge, Justice Obiora Egbutu, had signed the release order of all the 12 detainees, which, when they fully met their bail conditions last week, including the provisions of 24 sureties. The detainees are Abdulateef Onolapo, Tajuddin Iriloye, Dikeola Ademola, Ayobami Donald, Uthman Adelabu, Olakunle Oluwapelumi, Raji Kazim, Taiwo Tajuddin, Amudat Babatunde, Abidin Shitu, Jamiu Oyetunji, and Bamidele Sunday. The detainees have spent over 60 days in DSS custody since they were arrested around 1 a.m. on July 1, 2021, when the secret police raided Igboho'S Ibadan residence in a Gestapo style, killing 2 other associates of the activist in a gun duel. The 12 detainees had approached the court to seek their release. However, DSS lawyer Igboho had kicked against the bail granted by Justice Egbutu on August 4, 2021 to 4 of the detainees, Babatunde, Shitu, Oyetunji, and Sunday, claiming that they were heavily involved in the alleged offense of arms, stockpiling, and other criminal activities of their boss, Sunday Igboho. Awo had also filed a remand application for the DSS to continue to detain the contested 4 and subsequently approached a court of appeal sitting in Abuja to revoke the bail earlier granted by Justice Egbutu, but despite the objections of the DSS lawyer, the judge had granted all the detainees bail and signed their release order. The court also served and signed warrant of release to the secret police last week, but days after, Olajengbesi said the DSS was yet to free the detainees as ordered by the court. Speaking, Adegboruwa said the failure by the DSS to comply with the order of the court releasing on the bail the aides of Chief Sunday Adeyemo is an invitation to anarchy. It is an invitation to lawlessness, and it is to encourage a breakdown of law and order. The reason why we have the DSS and indeed the government is because they are established by law. DSS didn't just come into being on its own. It is a product of legislature. The government itself is a product of constitution that prescribes the system with which we voted them into power and define their function. The same law establishes the court, and it is stated in Section 287 of the 1999 Constitution that all persons exercising legislative, executive, and judicial powers must give directive to all orders made by courts in Nigeria, and to that extent, It is not proper for any agency or any person at all to receive the order of a court and sit upon it and refuse to obey it, because if the government refuses to obey the order of the court, what does it expect citizens to do? How do citizens comply with the directive of government when the government itself is refusing to obey and comply with law and order? He said the appeal filed by the DSS should not be granted. There is no stay of execution that should be granted for the enforcement of the liberty of any citizen, because the person is not going to run away. The fact that a suspect is released on bail in accordance with the orders of the court does not jeopardize the case that the DSS may have against them. The remedy for DSS in this particular case is to release them and then gather its evidence together and go ahead and prosecute them in court and await the final decision of the court, the Sun stated. Igboho'S urged the President Muhammadu Buhari to prevail upon the DSS to obey the bail granted by the court. I am appealing to the President, who is in charge of the DSS, because the DSS is a department under the presidency, to give necessary directive to ensure that the order is obeyed, the human rights activist added. Also, another senior advocate, Adelikpe, also said that the continued detention of Igboho'S aides despite the court order granting them bail was not surprising, as the Buhari regime has a knack for disregarding court orders. He said, "Nothing surprises me anymore about this particular regime. The disrespect for the judiciary is legendary. You will recall that the former National Security Advisor Sambo Dantsuki was repeatedly denied his freedom when the court pronounced that he should be released. You will equally recall the cleric in Kaduna State, Ibrahim Zaki, that got recently freed on a so-called murder charge. Unfortunately, we have an attorney general that is more of a politician than a minister of justice for the federation. When you disrespect the court, you are laying the ground for lawlessness, and because people will simply believe that there is no point going to court and nobody is going to obey the decision of the court. The AGF is a lawyer and a senior advocate whose duty is to see that constitutional provisions are complied with by government officials. I expect him to call the DSS officials and advise them accordingly. It is in the interest of government institutions to obey constitutional provisions and obey court decisions. The challenge to good governance is wrongdoing by government officials who, when they should uphold the law, disobey the law." And of course, Femi Falana also made his own part of this known, that the Buhari administration must comply to law and order. Yes, guys, that is it. You can see that these guys indeed and actually the ones breaking the laws in the country. So what do you expect citizens to do when those who are supposed to ensure that the laws are followed and not complying by it? Well, guys, please drop your comments, give this video a thumbs up, and also like and share this video. Do have a pleasant time. Bye for now.